Cherlene,
Yes.
it's good to see you, man. It's
Thank
good to
you.
have
It's good to be here. I'm excited. You know, I love chat.
But it's good to have you. I tell you what, in introducing you,
Yes.
you are a...
Personality specialist, and I'm an intuitive success coach. Yes.
An intuitive success coach.
Yes.
What do you do?
So basically what I do is I help people to just kind of go through different aspects of their life or business, and I help them to get past the things that are blocking them from moving forward. So, you know, it looks like lots of different things in terms of I may do inner healing because there's an emotional block. It may be like traditional like goal setting, you know, that we do in coaching. It might be, okay, well, now we need to do a little bit of mentoring, some kind of like a blended coach, but I heavily rely upon, you know, God to really tell me, you know, certain points like what's actually going on and how to unblock those things. So that's the coaching aspect, but then the personality specialist side of it is really helping people to, you know, understand their personality, why they think the way they do, why they behave the way they do, and how that impacts their everyday life, whether that's business, relationships, or work. So it's really cool because they get to leverage their personality in their environment.
So you're using their strengths to get the most out of them and to help them identify their journey.
Yeah, the strengths is a part of it, but like the model that I use is it's a psychological model. It's based in psychology. So I got certified in DISC about 4 years ago. And really it's about 4 different personality types and what those personality types means, what their fears are, their strengths, you know, their benefit to teams, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So it really does help people to understand, oh, that's why. Because I like to talk. It's my personality time. I type and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Your future husband has to be aware of that, you know that?
He'll be aware. He'll be aware because on the first day I'll be like, so by the way, like, have you heard of this? Or by the end of it I'll be like, yeah, by the way, like you're at DIS. Okay, that doesn't really work with me. So no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
No, don't do that.
I wouldn't.
But let him know you're a talker.
Yeah. But the thing is, if I identify what his personality type is, I know how to shift things so that I don't.
You know what we call that?
Go on.
Manipulation.
No, it's called understanding.
Where I'm coming from is something that you and I have been speaking about for, I think, years now,
Yep.
Your journey of singleness.
Yes. The journey.
How long have you been single?
11 years. It's a long time.
What does that mean? So when someone says they're single, it could mean they're not in a committed relationship.
Mm-hmm. I'm not in a committed relationship.
For 11 years, you've not
11 years. In any way, shape or form. Like I've not been in a relationship with a guy exclusively. No.
What have you been doing? How do you do that?
Not being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like
we're going to talk about it.
It's interesting because as I was saying that, I'm like, no, I haven't been in a relationship with a guy where it's been exclusive. But I think sometimes, if we're completely honest, men and women, sometimes we can be in a relationship in our mind with someone. Like, oh, I think something's happening here. Like, oh my gosh. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I've kind of been in a couple of those, if I'm honest. The ones that are like Hollywood.
You didn't tell them, though? They didn't know about it?
No. It's just, well, maybe one.
You're a Christian.
Yes, sir.
And if you were not a Christian or of religion, that would be different.
How? No, what do you mean?
Because you've got religio-social pressures.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
To perform, to do singleness a certain way.
Sure.
You've got that psycho-religious pressure of never thinking sexual thoughts and never doing certain things. But
what? Never having sexual thoughts? Wait, say that again? Because even as a Christian, it's real out here. Kurtz, come on.
I'm just saying the pressure's there.
I'm just saying, like, whether you're Christian or not, you will have thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, it's about deciding, okay, am I going to act on them or not? You know, like our body, like we may feel like we actually want to have sex, like it's going to happen. And I think that if there was more teaching on, hey, by the way, this is going to happen and this is how you manage it, opposed to you shouldn't be feeling this, then I think a lot of us would be a lot freer in our singleness.
What's your journey? Can you summarize your journey in a paragraph?
Me?
Yeah, impossible. No, when I'm
It's
talking,
actually impossible.
I'm talking specifically about the singleness because you've been through a lot, you've done a lot,
Sure,
you've
sure,
said
sure.
a lot.
I think, like in the beginning, because like historically I was kind of like, I went through like periods of time where I would be not in a relationship and I would be celibate, and that would be by choice because there was always option for booty calls, right? So sorry, I'm just very honest.
Just say it.
Yeah. So there was always the option for that, but it was a choice. Like there would be like periods of my life where it would be like 5 years, no one, just focusing, just getting on doing what I need to do in life, in ministry, in business, or in my work. And then, I stepped into a relationship and that didn't go so great, because I just didn't have a plan for how to maintain purity as a Christian person.
What does that mean? You said it in a nice way. What are you saying? What does that mean?
About having a plan for purity. Like, we have a plan for losing weight. We have a plan for, if we're changing our diet. We have a plan for, we've got this particular goal to meet for whatever it is that we're doing. But very rarely do we have a plan that's going to help us remain pure in our single journey.
And by pure, you mean?
Non-sexual contact with anybody.
Unless
you're married. Yeah. So, I feel like a lot of people, they step into relationships, but they haven't thought through, well, when my body's on heat, how am I going to respond?
Deep.
They don't think necessarily it's going to happen. You're in a relationship with the opposite sex and you're attracted to each other and you share deep and intimate things. Natural thing. You're going to have this drawing, this pulling to want to become more intimate. Yeah. So what does that next step of intimacy look like when the conversation is deep and gone and deeper and deeper and deeper and you can't go no more deep? The next place is you're naturally going to be drawn to want to experience the physical intimacy. So when that happens, what's the plan? What's the plan? Because it's going to happen. Because if I'm single and I'm on heat, I need to figure out, what are you going to do? Because you can phone the phone and get somebody to your house or go to somebody's house or hitch up in a car in the park. You can if you want to. Are you going to do that?
Boy.
I'm just saying, so what is the plan? So I think
it's that. Sorry, I'll cut you.
Go on, no, you're fine.
For me, and in interpreting what you're saying and mixing it with what my perspective is, it's that unintentional dating.
Oh gosh, please. I think this is probably why I'm still single.
And I'm coming from a religious perspective,
yeah.
but you got.
I think that's probably why I'm still, because I can do unintentional dating. Yeah. Easy.
We all could, innit?
Like what? I've been on Twitter. I've been on what we call it now. What's that one called?
I don't know them.
You shouldn't know them.
I was married before there was.
I'll be concerned if you did.
What's dating that? Don't date.
Yeah, Bumble. That's my latest one. Bumble.
Your latest one.
That's the latest one.
Have a look on Google.
So there's Bumble. There's what's the other one called?
Hold on. I've got it. Match.
Yeah, forget Match.
Yeah, I don't know. Zoo Elite. Let me not push it to the people. I don't want to share.
Like I've been on eHarmony.
eHarmony.
What's the other one that everybody's saying don't go on? Oh, Plenty of Fish. Do not go fishing there, people. No, but I'm going on there because I'm like, okay, so I'm busy. So where am I going to meet guys? I'm Christian, single. I'm awesome. There could be a guy who's single, Christian, awesome on there. Maybe we might swipe each other. Maybe we can have a conversation and find out. But it's like a needle in a haystack. Do you know what I mean? Like it's...
Because you'll be in your church, or if you go to your regular church,
it
is really all... The chances of you finding a relationship with a man, and there's hardly any men in the church.
Already.
Something like 7 to 1 or something like that.
More's coming in though.
More's coming in.
Yeah, well, my church anyway.
More's coming in your church.
Yeah, my church.
And you go to a great church.
Of course.
You go to a
standard.
great church.
Why would I go to any church? It's less than great.
Your church is great. Then you kind of resort to, well, you know what, this ain't working. You might go visiting, or you might just, I'm a busy girl, just go on the app.
But you know what? I'll be really, because this is about being honest, isn't it? It is. All right, so this is what I've found to be true. Yeah, what I've found to be true is guys who are not Christian, who are outside the church, are a lot more brave. I was going to definitely use a different example or word, but they are a lot more brave than guys in the church. Like, for some reason, it's like guys are afraid maybe to approach women in the church.
Guys in the church are afraid to approach women in the church.
Yeah. Like, I've been in church for many years and I've not had one guy in my whole time of being in church approach me. Not once. Not one time. That's a problem. But if I decide me want to go salsa go do two leg, trust me, there's Christian men out there at salsa club, and I get more conversation from them than I do from guys in the church. It's a mad one. And they may not necessarily, they may be Christian by heart and they're in relationship with God, but they're not necessarily attending the church. And I'm just like, what is that? Like, why is that?
And so you feel drawn to other measures to see a man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I say it like this, like, you can't make a choice from one option, right? So it's like, what am I going to do? Just sit down and twiddle thumbs and wait for the ceiling to open up and for a man to drop on, well, hopefully not on my lap, but you get what I mean. Like, I'm not going to have that. Like, I mean, you get what I mean. It's like, what's the probability? It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. I mean, needless to say, if you're on Facebook, if you're on, ladies, you probably know what I mean by this, is my inbox is always popping off with guys in there. When you check their profile, you're like, are you serious, bro? Like, no, come on. Like, there's just some dodgy characters. And it's just like, if I wanted to, I could let my ego get massaged by that. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's intentional, where we're moving in a particular direction. We understand purpose. We understand destiny. And everything that holds it together is love in it. Maybe I'm too romantic in my thought process or something.
Well, now this is it. I think, and we use the term intentional dating, meaning that if you don't have an endpoint clearly defined, not in secret, but clearly defined between you, you're going to end up in a certain place.
Sure.
And let's just throw this out there.
Okay.
Because premarital sex does cause problems, more problems than anything.
So much problem.
You're less likely to get married. You're more likely to break up statistically.
True.
That's just
True.
even the secular statistics and studies will show you that. So Christians, we're in a situation where you're like, look, I'm on heat. I can't go out there.
Nope.
And nothing going on in here.
Yeah.
Now, Cherlene, what now?
Boy, do you know, it's, I mean, what part are we talking about? The heat part or the going out? Because the thing is, like, I feel as though as individuals, like, there's this tension between trusting God and waiting on God, and trusting that God is going to align and direct. And, everybody wants that kind of like serendipitous story of like, oh, I was walking through the park. And I mean, I think, you guys, I'm a hopeless romantic. You can hear movies, it. So yes, but why can't it happen in real life? Like, I've heard stories, So why can't that happen to me? Or you even, right? So like, like we hear like that, that God brings people together and how that happens so beautifully, so harmoniously. And she didn't like him, but he liked her. And then when he liked her, she didn't like it. You hear these stories, and then, ta-da, they're together and they get married and they have children and they live happily ever after, and then just, blowing it up for the kingdom, right? Like, yes, this is, I'm an idealist, right? So, that's what I would like, a lovely love story. I mean, God is the God of love, isn't it?
Go on.
Is he not defined as love?
Yeah, but you go on because, go on.
Yeah, so I'm just saying. So with that, there's this tension between trusting God and believing God for your spouse.
Yeah.
And actually, faith without works is dead. Like, this is that tension. Like, are you going to stay in your house and not go out, not communicate, not do a whole bunch of different things where you can put yourself in environments where you're going to meet guys? And this is something that's new for me at the moment in terms of going back to doing the things I was doing before. Because I got so wrapped up in work and ministry. And this is a recent revelation, by the way, brought to my attention by a couple of people in my life, that, I need to figure out a way on how to allow people to get to know me outside of work and ministry. Like that became a thing.
So work and ministry was a barrier between you even trying to have a relationship with a man in church.
Well, the thing is, like, it's interesting because in my thought process, I would just be like, well, of course not. You know, I'm busy because I'm busy, but my thought process has always been, I make time for what I value. So even if I'm busy, I will find time if I value this relationship. So in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, cool, I'm ready, I'm presenting as I'm available. But the perception was completely opposite.
Okay, look. You're going on it's too rich. You've got to put some water on it now. So dilute this thing down because you've gone...
Yeah.
The coping, or the tension between waiting for God and then you've got your drive to go in a certain direction, take things into your own hands. Sure. If that's okay. For some people, they might say that's okay. Some people might say, well, you're faithless. What is your experience on that?
You know, I've had loads of conversations with women about, you know, oh, there's no men in the church. And I used to have a whole preach about the sleeping Adam. I mean, because I got to the point where this is a part of the journey where I was feeling like quite bitter about the fact that there was nobody that was interested, but all of these unsaved guys were about my life. Deep. You know, like, so I started to get really like, well, there has to be a logical reason for this, you know. So I used to have this thing where I would speak about the sleeping Adam. And the sleeping Adam basically meant he was unconscious to who was around him. And Eve was being prepared and she was prepared. And then, you know, of course, we know that, you know, God took Eve to Adam and then he recognized who she was. And I remember I'll be like, oh, he's just unconscious. He doesn't know. He can't see it. And I used to have this whole attitude. And then one day God said to me, what if it's not that Adam is unconscious, but it's that Eve isn't ready yet? And I was vexed. I was, excuse me, like, what are you trying to say? Because I've read all of these.
What was he trying to say?
What was he trying to say, God? Because I've read all these relationship books. I feel like I'm ready and chicken head, like.
From the time your head's moving like that.
Yeah, I was ready, exactly. So we're talking now, like, let's see. Because we're talking about maybe like 20 years ago, right? Let me see. Is that right?
20 years ago.
Well, no, maybe 17 years ago. This is when I was thinking about this. Because, you know, because I went through periods where I was with somebody, then I wasn't. Then I was with, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm like, you know, I would have that whole preach. But when God said that, it made me realize like, oh, actually, maybe I'm not ready as I think I am. So now I need to work on me as a woman. And those things that had happened in my past that may have been baggage that I would be taking into a relationship. Have I... substantially dealt with those things to as much as I can. Of course, things may still come up in the context of an unconditional love relationship that may not be, the environment of singleness isn't conducive to seeing those things come up to the surface. But what the things that I could do that God had brought to my revelation, how am I actually dealing with that in my singleness? So a part of my my singleness, waiting for my king journey, hasn't been about the complaint of or the top end, like now it hasn't been about the complaint of like where is he, but it's like how can I make myself better for when he comes.
That might be part one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
You know, it's about that, like how
keep that point.
Okay, I'm gonna need to just press pause.
Say it and then say it so you know what you're saying. Because
how can I prepare myself for when he comes?
Right, part 2 is baggage.
Okay.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah, of course.